JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, police list persons of interest in Portland ganja bust. One man has been listed as a person of interest in the recovery of 200 pounds of ganja in Mansion Hill, Portland on Saturday night. He is 43-year-old Garth Ferguson of Rocky Point in Clarendon. According to reports, 3 men were aboard a boat transporting the contraband when it became engulfed in flames. 2 of the men reportedly received burn injuries and left the area in a white Toyota motor car with a 5878 HP license plate affixed. They are also listed as persons of interest in the incident. All 3 men are at large. Meanwhile, the Portland police have dubbed the recovery of the 200 pounds of ganja as another dent in the drugs for gun trade. The recovered contraband is said to have a street value of approximately 1.4 million Jamaican dollars. Wanted American who skipped return cruise arrested in St. Anne. An American tourist who is allegedly wanted for criminal offenses in the United States was arrested in St. Anne after failing to report back to a cruise ship that docked in the tourist resort on September 13. 20-year-old Eric Lott was reported missing and a search launched after he did not return to the vessel. He was arrested during an operation conducted by the St. Anne police along the Brownstone Main Road yesterday. He was charged for breaching the Immigration Act and will face the court on Tuesday. According to police sources, Lott, who is from a Douglasville address in Georgia, is wanted on charges of murder and aggravated assault in the same city. Law enforcers say Lott also goes by the name Garfield Anthony Michael Sewell. Man burned to death. Another shot dead in early morning attack in Granville. The police have theorized that a gang feud is behind Sunday morning's double murder in Granville, St. James. The attackers also set fire to 3 houses during their rampage. The deceased have been identified as 63-year-old Ainsworth Buckner and 27-year-old O'Shane Brown, both of Gordon Crescent in Granville. The police were summoned to the community shortly after 2 a.m. by residents who reported that heavy gunfire was heard in the area. Upon the arrival of the police, it was discovered that 3 houses were ablaze. The 2 bodies were discovered later. The St. James police are investigating the development. Perrin regrets allegations of physical abuse at boys' home. Chairman of the Clifton Boys' Home, Reverend Artley Perrin, has described as regrettable the allegations of physical abuse which led to the arrest and charge of 3 workers, a senior citizen, and 2 of her close family members by the Westmoreland Police on Thursday. According to the Constabulary's Corporate Communications Unit, manager of the facility, 80-year-old Irene MacDonald, was charged with assault occasioning actual bodily harm and unlawful wounding. Meanwhile, her son, 58-year-old William MacDonald, assistant manager, and her granddaughter, 35-year-old Rashida MacDonald, a housekeeper at the facility, have both been charged with assault occasioning actual bodily harm. The 80-year-old accused has reportedly worked at the facility for 4 decades. The allegations, said Reverend Perrin, have thrown the facility into a negative light. The parties are no longer associated with the home, and the home is now feeling the kickback from this. But it is what it is. We have persons who are calling from abroad, wanting to know the situation, and almost losing confidence. Maybe that's a little too strong to say, but they need to be assured that everything is still all right here. So it puts the home in a bad light, not in a good light. Would much prefer that the home continues to be in a good light, Reverend Perrin said last evening. It has been most unfortunate from day one, and I just remain saying the whole thing is unfortunate. That's all I will say now. I said a lot in the initial stages. I continue to say it is just unfortunate. In the meantime, a news release from the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, noted that the agency takes a zero-tolerance approach to all forms of violence against children and is cooperating with the police as they carry out their investigations. Meanwhile, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Robert Nesta Morgan, said people working within the childcare ecosystem must be reminded to act in the best interest of the children in their care at all times. Persons within the child protection system are prescribed persons and have a greater duty of care under the provisions of the Child Care and Protection Act, CCPA 2004, he said. It was reported that over the period under investigation, 8 boys from as young as 10 years old to 17 years old were physically abused by the 3 accused. One of the accused is said to have used a metal chair to beat a 17-year-old boy. It is also alleged that at another time, He used a piece of board to beat a 15-year-old boy and dragged another down the stairs. It is further alleged that another accused beat 4 other children, resulting in bruises and a wound to one of them. There were also allegations that on another occasion, one of the accused physically assaulted 2 other boys. A report was subsequently made to the CPFSA and the police. An investigation was launched and the 3 accused arrested and subsequently charged. Earlier this year, upon receiving reports, the CPFSA launched an investigation into allegations of physical abuse of wards of the state by staff at the residential childcare facility. This resulted in the suspension of some staff members. The police also conducted their own investigations, which led to Thursday's arrest. Clifton Boys Home was established in 1961 and is a private facility licensed for a capacity of 35 boys aged 7 to 18 years. The building was destroyed by fire in January 2017, displacing 28 boys. The Anglican Church in Jamaica, which operates the home, had stated that it would take $60 million to rebuild the facility. Family says mom died after contracting COVID at hospital. A family in Luida's Vale, St. Catherine, is mourning the death of their mother, 56-year-old Beryl Jr., who they say contracted COVID-19 while she was a patient at the Spanish Town Hospital, where she was admitted with asthma problems. Junior's eldest daughter, Julian McKay, said her mother developed breathing problems associated with her asthma and was taken to her family doctor, who did a COVID-19 test that returned a negative result. According to McKay, her mother's condition worsened, prompting the doctor on September 6 to suggest that she be taken to hospital as her oxygen was low. McKay said that her mother was admitted that night and the hospital performed a COVID test that also came back negative. However, the family said that on September 12, they were told by hospital authorities that their mother had passed away from COVID-19 complications the day before. Our mother was COVID-free when she was admitted. She must have caught it there, said McKay. She also alleged that her mother was in a wheelchair for 4 days and was sharing oxygen with a patient who had COVID-19. Stacey Lynch, another sibling who visited her mother in hospital, said she was sharing a room with another patient. It was just crazy. After mother died, that was when they called us to tell us, "Oh, your mother died from COVID-19, because we did another test and it came back positive." This is what is puzzling us, because we know she was COVID-free when she got there, Lynch said. The youngest of the 4 siblings, Abigail Jr., was adamant that her mother did not contract the virus before going to hospital because all the children tested negative for COVID on August 23. You see, all of us in this household follow protocols, and her mother was not an outgoing person. Even if she has to go, she would use private transportation, she said. CEO of the hospital, Jacqueline Ellis, said she has just been made aware of the matter and could not provide a fulsome response. The matter has been brought to our attention, and we cannot provide a response at this time, but what we can assure is that an investigation will be carried out, Ellis said. The siblings described Junior as a perfect role model who worked very hard to raise them and instilled proper values in them. They say the grief is devastating, and even with the complications that she has endured for years without hospitalization, they did not expect her to pass so soon. 429 new COVID-19 cases, 10 additional deaths. Jamaica recorded 429 new COVID-19 cases and 10 deaths on Saturday, bringing the infection total to 82,778 and the virus death toll to 1,834. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported that the new cases comprise 243 females and 176 males with ages ranging from 3 days to 102 years. The cases were recorded in Clarendon, 52, Kingston and St. Andrew, 82, Hanover, 5, Manchester, 17, St. Anne, 31, Portland, 53, St. Catherine, 93, St. Elizabeth, 14, St. James, 28, St. Mary, 21, St. Thomas, 4, Westmoreland, 11, and Trelawney, 18. The deceased are a 76-year-old female, a 48-year-old female, a 92-year-old female, an 89-year-old female, a 69-year-old female, and a 38-year-old male from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 64-year-old female, and a 67-year-old male from St. Anne, a 62-year-old female from St. Mary, and a 70-year-old female from Portland. The deaths occurred between September 18 and September 24, 2021. There are 28,260 active cases island-wide. Meanwhile, 226 more persons have recovered over the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of recoveries to 52,097. Currently, 648 people are hospitalized, 102 of which are severely ill, 43 are critically ill, and 124 are moderately ill. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.